Hey folks, I hope that you guys are doing pretty well. So today is Sunday, the 15th of December 2024, and in today's video, I'm going to be discussing in Genesis 49, okay, the blessings that Jacob gave to his 12 children, okay. And so, of course, we know that the 12 children ended up becoming the 12 tribes of Israel, okay. So, if you go to Genesis 49, on verse 2, it begins, "Gather yourselves together, and hear, you sons of Jacob, and hearken unto Israel your father." Okay, so Jacob is about to give blessings and some curses, sadly, especially to Simeon and Levi. Okay, instruments of cruelty are in the habitations, and so he was going to divide them in Israel. Okay, but we get to that in a moment. Now, I have my little menorah here, folks. And of course, the menorah represents the seven spirits of God, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. And so I wanted to do a video as to how these seven spirits of God in the menorah, okay, can actually be represented with the first seven sons of Jacob, okay, in relation to God's 7,000-year plan and the menorah on spiritual terms. Okay, so we all know, all Bible scholars know that God has a 7,000-year plan. Jesus came on the 4,000th year, in other words, 2000 BC. Here we are on candle number 6 at the end of the church age, and this represents, the last candle in the menorah represents Jesus' millennial kingdom. Okay, so I want to buy a bigger menorah very soon. So yeah, I think this is actually an interesting deciphering. And then you might be wondering, okay, well, I'm going to be talking about the seven sons, but it's actually five other sons. So you need to ask the question, what, spiritually speaking, or on spiritual terms, do the other five sons represent? Okay, beyond the 7,000-year period when we go into eternity. I'm going to discuss that as well. And give you some ideas as to how the other remaining five children of Israel, okay, in future dispensations, can actually represent, as some kind of spiritual meaning, okay. So this is actually quite an interesting video, and it's actually an interesting idea, okay. Now, as an idea, we all know that the Hebrew language is alphanumeric, okay. So perhaps this might be a good idea for a Jewish biblical decipherer, if you like, to perhaps think about this video that I'm going to do here and see what they can come up in terms of numbers, in terms of numeric representation. Okay, I don't speak Hebrew. I only speak just a very few words, but this could well be a good deciphering for a native Hebrew speaker, someone who knows about the Bible and can decipher things, alphanumerically, So anyway, let us start with here, folks. The first sons of Jacob in relation to God's 7,000-year plan and the menorah, okay, on spiritual terms. The blessings of Jacob to the 12 tribes of Israel, if you like, or the 12 children of Jacob. Genesis 49, okay. Now, the year 1000 represents the, the first candle in the menorah, if you like, okay? And so Reuben is the firstborn, okay? The firstborn. And it reads here, the curse, I guess, of Reuben, though I'm a firstborn, my might, and the beginning of my strength, the excellency of dignity and the excellency of power. So I guess this is a blessing, but it says here, the course, unstable as water, thou shalt not excel, because you wentest up to thy father's bed, then defilest thou it. He went up to my couch. Okay, so we know what he's trying to say there, but let us move on. So What can then Reuben, okay, what can Reuben be representing here spiritually on the first candle, okay? Then Reuben the First Born, thou shalt not excel because thou wentest out to thy father's bed. We can probably connect it to the fall of Adam, spiritually speaking, the first human child of God, if you like, and he fell, along with Adam and Eve, you know. And so here also we see Reuben, falling as well, sadly getting, a blessing also, but also a curse as well, thou shalt not excel because you went up to thy father's bed, you know. So in the first year, okay, or up to the year 2000, if you like, the beginning of creation, if you like, we see the fall of Adam, we also see the fall of Reuben, uh, in a way as well, with this curse here, you shall not excel because you went to start to thy father's bed, so can you see the connection between Adam and Reuben? They both fell, say year 1000 if you like, symbolically speaking, representing the first candle or the menorah, and how it connects spiritually to the first candle, if you like, now year 2000 if you like, on the second candle of the menorah, we have Simeon, he's the second born, okay, alongside with Levi, he's an instrument of cruelty, okay. So spiritually speaking, Simeon is representing violence. Think of the violence that happened during the time of Noah, okay, and how God commanded Noah to build the ark, okay. So what does it say here? According to Genesis 49, verse 5, he's getting a bit of a curse here, sadly. Simeon and Levi are brethren, instruments of cruelty are in the habitations. O my soul, come not thou into their secret, and to their assembly. Mine honor, be not thou united, for in their anger they slew a man, and in their sweat will they dig down a wall. Okay, so we know what Simeon and Levi did, when they got their revenge. Okay, so symbolically speaking, if you like, now we got Simeon here and then Levi. Then Simeon is representing, at the time of Noah, if you like, all the violence that was there on earth, now the year 3000, which is the third candle on the menorah, Levi, the third son, instrument of cruelty, but it also represents, they are the Leviticus tribe unto God. So spiritually speaking, Levi is representing the law or the age of the law. If you read Exodus 28:1, Israel under the law. So, the third candle here, is representing the age of the law, Levi, the Leviticus law, Um, so yeah, the Levi tribe, of course, is selected by God under Exodus 28:1, to represent God, as the Leviticus priest, if you like. Okay. So let's quickly go there to Exodus 28. Just quickly, here we go, folks. Just over the page. So head over to Exodus, of course, chapter 28, verse 1. And take thou unto thee Aaron thy brother and his son with him from among the children of Israel, that he might minister unto me in the priest office, even Aaron, Nadab, and Abiyahu, Eleazar, and Itamar, Aaron's sons. Okay, so of course we all know, generally speaking, that the Levite tribe are actually the priests of God. So yeah, spiritually speaking, the third candle then is actually representing the age of the law. Okay. Now let me turn over the page then. So then we go into the year 4000. Okay, the fourth candle on the menorah, Judah. The fourth son, Judah. is a lion's whelp. The scepter shall not depart from Judah. Of course, the year 4000 represents, the coming of Jesus, the Messiah. So spiritually speaking, the fourth candle is representing Jesus, the Messiah. And we read here on verse 8, Judah, thou art him whom thy brethren shall prize. Thy hand shall be in the neck of thy enemies. Thy father's children shall bow down unto thee. Okay, so Judah is a lion's whelp, and also the scepter. The scepter is, of course, Jesus. Okay, just to keep a long story short. Okay, so we can move on to the next one. Now, Zebulon is the fifth son. Okay, Zebulon shall dwell at the haven of the sea, and he shall be for a haven of ships, and his border shall be unto Sidon. Okay, now, spiritually speaking, then the fact that it says Zebulon shall dwell at the haven of the sea. Think of Paul, getting into ships, going to Greece, taking the gospel. Okay, so basically in the menorah, Judah represents Jesus. Then the fifth and the sixth candle represents the church age. Okay, so here we see in the fifth son, rather, the Zebulon and Issachar representing the church age with different problems. Spiritually speaking, in my view, then Paul, in the heaven of the seas, going in ships to Greece, if you like, to take the gospel, to the world. So for my notes here, I put down 5000, fifth candle on the menorah, Zebulon, the fifth son, Zebulon shall dwell at the haven of the sea. So spiritually, the beginning of the church age, the gospel going out into the world via the sea. Think of Paul, the apostle, traveling in ships to Greece to take the gospel to the world. Okay. The year 6000 on the menorah, the sixth born is Issachar. Okay. Interestingly, it says here Issachar has two burdens. Okay. Issachar, the sixth son, Issachar is as strong as catching them between two burdens. Okay. The two burdens are right down here, spiritually speaking. Burden one, we can see the dark ages, the church age, and the hidden gospel. Okay. Think of the days of Catholicism, Roman Catholicism, the dark ages and things like that. And burden two is actually today's church age apostasy, the falling away. So these are the two burdens, in my view, according to Issachar, spiritually speaking. The first one, just to finish up, the dark ages and the hidden gospel, and burden two, today's church age apostasy. Okay. So for Issachar, it says here, Issachar is as strong as catching them between two burdens. Okay. So yeah, think of the church age, dark ages where the gospel was hidden, and the apostasy. Okay. And then it says here, and he saw the rest was good, and the land that it was pleasant, and bear his shoulder to bear and become a servant and to tribute. Yeah, of course, a servant, I guess, but, nonetheless having, these two burdens, Now then, of course, represents the last candle in the menorah. Interesting, it says, then shall judge his people as one of the tribes of Israel. Now, spiritually speaking, the fact that it says, then shall judge, symbolically speaking, we could say that this is Jesus, judging, all the nations during the millennial kingdom. So, then for last page here, for then, okay, representing the seventh candle on the menorah, then shall judge his people as one of the tribes of Israel. Spiritually speaking, symbolizes Jesus as judging his people, Israel, and being the king of Israel. Okay, Jesus shall rule with a rod of iron. Okay, according to Revelation 2:27. Okay, so then is symbolically speaking symbolizes Jesus. As Jesus judging his people, Israel, and being the king of Israel. Jesus shall judge and rule with a rod of iron. Okay, so I guess these seven sons, spiritually speaking, represents something here, with the seven spirits of God here, in the seven candle menorah, if you like, the 7,000-year plan. Now, then the other question that Bible scholars will ask is, okay, well, there are 12 children, okay, so that means that God must go into eternity, okay, but look what it says here. God, truth shall overcome him, okay, but he shall overcome at the last, okay. So that's interesting how it says this, because God the Father, he's going to have that final judgment at the end of the millennial kingdom, okay, kind of like overcoming, all wickedness, if you like, and then we enter into eternity, overcome at the last, making that final judgment, if you like, at the end of the millennial kingdom, and then of course we'll enter into eternity, okay. And then you might be wondering, okay, so what's after this? Well, perhaps in future dispensations, I don't want to get too far ahead, but I'm just going to give you a bit of a glimpse as to, what I think anyway. Naphtali, okay, it says here, is a hymn let loose, he giveth goodly words. Perhaps, there will be a certain age, after eternity, in a certain dispensation where we are going to be giving knowledge, he gives goodly words, so yeah, it's possible to might enter into a certain dispensation where, all the saints, all the believers begin to gain knowledge or get knowledge from God, and then it says here, Joseph is a fruitful bough, even a fruitful bough by a well whose branches run over the wall. Okay, so it's interesting. I don't want to get too far ahead, but I'm just rising up an idea here, just something to think about. So yeah, that's all I wanted to do with this deciphering, folks. I just wanted to tie, the first seven children of Israel or Jacob, and what that means in spiritual terms, with regards to the 7,000-year plan that God has. Like I was just trying to say, how after eternity, we then have here Naphtali, and how he could well represent a new dispensation where we are going to be giving knowledge, goodly words, knowledge, interesting. All right, folks, thank you for watching, and I'll talk to you all later.